Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be using my Ninja Foodi Possible Cooker Pro to make some really easy and delicious pot roast. This is one of the easiest things you can make, but your family's going to think you slaved in the kitchen all day. So you ready? Let's get into this. Alright, for this recipe we need some beef chuck roast. You want to get the boneless ones if you can. Some red potatoes, 1 white onion, some carrots, celery stalks, some beef broth, soy sauce, Worcestershire, a little bit of all-purpose flour, a little salt and pepper combination, 1 small bottle of red wine, a little bit of fresh herbs. I've got rosemary, thyme, and I got 1 bulb of garlic here. Last but not least, we need some fire-roasted diced tomatoes. You can dice and roast some fresh tomatoes, but if you use these out of the can, they're still really good and it saves you a ton of time. If you'd like to make this recipe, all the ingredients and measurements are down in the description of the video, along with the calorie count, the protein, the carbs, and the fat. The first thing we gotta do is prep all of our stuff. For the potatoes, all we gotta do is cut these in half. You don't really gotta do anything special to these. We're just kind of doubling these up a little bit. Okay, that's good enough. Next, we're gonna move on to our celery. These are easy enough, just make sure you clean them first. Cut the white parts off the bottom, like so. Cut these tops off. And we want to cut these into just about 1-inch sections. Once you do that, we'll just set these aside. Now we'll move on to the carrots. These we're going to want to peel. So we'll just peel these up. Just be careful not to get your finger here, because I've done that many a time. I'm going to chop off these tips, chop off the roots. And once we get them all cleaned up like this, we're going to cut these down a little bit. You can do it any way you want. I personally like to cut them in the 4s, like that, and then cut them into about 2-inch pieces, like that. All right, once you got those chopped down, we can put these aside. Now let's deal with this onion. The way I like to peel these is you just cut off the ends here. Then we're gonna cut this right down the middle. Then once that's cut open, we can peel off the dry skin portion. Like that. From here, we can just chop this into manageable sized pieces. You don't have to worry too much about separating these out or anything. They're gonna kind of fall apart in the pot roast anyway. Alright, and the last of the things that we really need to prep is the garlic. This is a lot easier than you might think. If you don't know how to do it properly though, it ends up being a big pain in the ass. Really, you just peel it open. Try to get as much of that dry stuff off as you can. You don't even have to be all that neat about it. Really, most of this is just kind of fall apart on its own. If you get one like that, then chuck that thing. That's gross. Okay, and from here, peeling these is super easy. All you gotta do is take your chef knife, or santoku in my case, set your knife on its side on top of your garlic clove with the blade facing away from you, and just give it a quick tap, like that. Now, this should just come right off of it. Easy, huh? Now we just gotta rinse and repeat. You could even line these all up together like this and do it all at once if you're feeling cheeky. What? Once you got these peeled, we're almost ready to start cooking. So we're moving along pretty quick here. Now we'll take a plate, put our all-purpose flour on here, Spread that out really good. And we're gonna season our meat. A lot of people don't like to pre-season the meat. They just want to put it in the slow cooker with all that sauce and then it just gets its flavor that way. But I happen to like a lot of seasoning, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway. You don't have to do this, it just depends on how much seasoning you really want on your stuff. In fact, I'm not really putting that much on here, just enough to give it a little something. And remember, this is just a salt and pepper combination. You don't have to use all of it. You can use any amount you want. Now, we're gonna make sure that each of these pieces of meat get a nice coating of all-purpose flour all over them on every side. That means don't just roll it in there, you wanna get both ends too. We'll start with the smaller pieces first. Just kind of do this, roll it around, like that. Get a little love on both sides here. This doesn't have to be perfect, but you do wanna get a pretty decent amount of this on there. What this is gonna do is it's gonna help the sauce in your slow cooker turn into more of a roux. It's gonna make it nice and thick, and it's gonna be delicious. Can't wait. All right, next we're gonna take our possible cooker, turn this on, and we wanna set this to the sear and saute setting. We want this to be on high, and we'll start it up and give it a few minutes to warm up. And once that's warmed up, we're gonna put all of our meat in here just to give it a nice little browning. You want to make sure that you brown all sides of your meat. And these are barely gonna fit in here, but that's okay. I would say no longer than a couple of minutes on each side. Also be sure not to touch any of this ring area around here because that's gonna be hot as hell. Hey, by the way, if this is your first time here and you want to learn some cool new recipes, get some great cooking tips and tricks and all sorts of other kitchen related things, then start now by subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell so you never miss a thing. Okay, once you've got that done, you can sort of just move these around and arrange them in your pot, nice and orderly. Then we're gonna stop the sear, move this over to slow cooker. We're gonna leave it on high temperature and we wanna set the time to 5.5 hours. Then we'll start it up and we can start loading up the slow cooker. You don't have to be very strategic about this, just kind of distribute the stuff around so it's not all in one spot. Try to actually get it in the slow cooker, not like what I just did. Our onions. Fire roasted tomatoes. There's our rosemary and our thyme. Now all we gotta do is add in our sauces. So I'm gonna put in my wine first, then my Worcestershire, soy sauce, and finally the beef stock. Now all we gotta do is put on the lid and we wait.
One eternity later.
All right, this just finished up and I gave it about 15 minutes to rest afterwards. Let's take a look at this. And that, looking pretty darn good. What do you say we get this plated up? And it looks like for Chip over there, it's not a moment too soon. Or maybe it is. Always a critic. Hey, Joe's Phenomenal now has channel memberships. For most people, you can see a join button down below the video window that you can click and see what type of perks I'm offering. If you're using an iOS device, you might not be able to see it, and if that's the case, I do have a link down in the description of the video as well. I absolutely love pot roast, and one of the best things about it is that it's almost impossible to screw up. As long as you got a machine that can do a slow cook, this recipe is a home run. If you'd like a little bit more information about the Ninja Foodi Possible Cooker Pro, I do have an Amazon affiliate link for it down in the description of the video. If you buy anything through those links, I do make a small commission, but it doesn't change the price that you pay, 1 cent. If you like this video, I bet you might like this video right here where I showed you how to make some really great barbecued ribs in a pressure cooker. You would think that something like that would suck, but it actually came out really good and it took no time at all. Well, that's it for now. I hope to see you back again here really soon, and until that time, I'm Joe, and I hope you have a phenomenal day. Take it easy.